Steve, are there worms who never die?
Well, there are according to Isaiah.
Are we going to read about that here?
We are.
Oh, great. This is the Bible in fewer words. We are Carol and Steve Wells. This is episode 187, Isaiah, chapters 56 to 66. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Carol.
That seems like a lot of chapters.
Yes, but they're short, so I think we can get through them. This also is 3rd Isaiah.
Is 66 last chapter in Isaiah?
Yeah.
Great. I'm looking forward to that. Should we get started?
Sure. Okay. Chapter 56. Don't let the eunuch say, I am a dry tree.
I don't know what that means.
A dry tree? Maybe that's one that doesn't reproduce?
Okay. A little bizarre, but let's go on.
Uh-huh.
This is what I say to the eunuchs who choose the things that please me.
I'll give them my house and a name that is better than any son or daughter. I'll give them an everlasting name that will never be cut off.
Like the other part of their body.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess all that you can say is God, for some reason, really likes eunuchs. Although in Deuteronomy, chapter 23, 1, it says that any man who has his testicles damaged in some way can't enter the congregation of the Lord. So,
Maybe he's changed his mind.
Maybe so, yeah.
Okay, chapter 57. You sons of witches, adulterers and whores, who are you laughing at? Why are you sticking out your tongue?
You have sex with idols on every mountaintop and under every tree.
That's a lot of sex.
Yes, it is.
Yes, he's saying there are a lot of people. You've set your bed on the top of high mountains where you have sex with my rivals.
So that's interesting that God has rivals. And they're having sex with them on mountaintops.
Yeah.
You went to the king with ointment and perfume and debased yourself to hell.
This is a weird thing we're reading here.
Yes, it is. And we have to get used to it, get through it here.
Okay. I create the fruit of the lips. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, there's a note in the HarperCollins Study Bible about that verse. It says the meaning is unclear.
They don't know what it is.
Yeah.
There's no peace for the wicked.
Well, that's clear enough.
Yes. But is it peace that they say? No rest for the wicked.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. But maybe it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's probably where it comes from. Chapter 58. Cry out loud. Lift up your voice like a trumpet.
Under the heavy burdens, break every yoke, and let the oppressed go free. Feed the hungry, open your house to the poor, and clothe the naked. Well, I asked for something that was understandable, and here he gave it to us.
It's not only understandable, it's nice. It's
very
good.
Nice.
Yeah, something good in Isaiah.
Okay, I'm in a better mood now.
Chapter 59. God's hand isn't shortened.
No one is calling for justice. Everyone's lying. Vipers hatch from cockatrice eggs, and whoever eats them dies.
Good to know.
Chapter 60. Darkness will cover the earth. Nations that refuse to serve you will be destroyed. Who's the you there? Israel.
I think so, yeah. I will make the place of my feet glorious.
I don't want to talk about feet anymore. You will suck the milk of Gentiles and suck the breasts of kings.
Yeah.
That's a lot of breast sucking going on.
Yeah, and it's sucking men's breasts, which is weird. At least the breasts of kings certainly is. The sun and the moon will no longer produce light.
Chapter 61. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because God has anointed me to preach good news to the meek, bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, and release the prisoners. Bind up the brokenhearted. What does that mean? Help console them?
Mm-hmm. This is a passage that Jesus quoted in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 4. And he says he came to Nazareth, to his hometown, and he started saying this, that the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and I'm going to free the captives and all of that.
Yep.
The people in Nazareth didn't like it very much. And they ran him out of town. Doesn't say, but they didn't like it. I think maybe they thought, they may have thought that he was speaking as though he were God or something. He was applying the words of Isaiah to himself, and they probably thought that was a little out of place.
Oh.
In any case, they were so upset about it that they tried to throw him off a cliff. to get rid of him.
Jesus.
But
they
he
were throwing
escaped.
Jesus off a cliff.
That's what they tried. Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't work. He escaped.
Chapter 62. You'll have a new name given to you by the mouth of God. You'll no longer be called Forsaken. You'll be called Hephzibah. Your land will be called Beulah, and the land will be married. The land will be married to whom?
I don't know. I'm not sure who the land's going to be married to. But Hephzibah was the wife of Hezekiah.
Oh.
Remember Hezekiah?
Yes, the best king ever.
That's right. So that should help.
Yeah, it's all clear now.
Yeah. God has sworn by his right hand that he won't give your grain to your enemies or your wine to the sons of strangers.
Okay, thanks, God. Chapter 63. Who is that guy coming from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah?
Yeah, Bozrah, I think, is a town in Edom. Why are you dressed in red, like someone who has treaded a winepress?
I've trodden the winepress alone. I'll tread it in my anger and trample them in my fury. Their blood will be sprinkled on my clothes. Okay, who's them? Sorry, I'm asking you all these questions.
I have no idea.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
Well, at least I don't know. I mean, I assume that it's
People from Bozrah?
maybe it's people from Edom, because God's always picking on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is God that's going to have blood on his clothes. Vengeance is in my heart, and this is the year for it.
I'll trample the people in my fury. God, why did you harden our hearts and force us to make mistakes?
There's a little bit of a gap there between verse 6 and 17, and so they probably don't really belong together.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, God's going to be upset. He's going to trample people in his fury.
And then he's going to harden some hearts like he used to do.
Yeah, and he's going to harden some hearts. Mm-hmm. Chapter 64. Tear the heavens apart, God, and come down to earth. Melt the mountains with your presence. Boil the waters to make your name known.
When you did terrible things, you came down and the mountains melted. But we are unclean, filthy rags.
Yeah. Chapter 65. I sought out those who didn't seek me and said to them, look at me, look at me.
But they were rebellious and thought their own thoughts. Oh my.
Yeah. They ate swine's flesh and a broth of abominable things.
They said to me, stay away from me. I am holier than thou.
Holier than thou. Yeah. Wonder if that's where that's from.
Mm-hmm.
They are smoke in my nose.
I don't know what that is.
Well, you know how that kind of irritates you? Actually, I kind of like the smell of smoke. I don't know if maybe God doesn't.
You have forsaken me and my holy mountain, so I will slaughter you with the sword.
My servants will eat, but still be hungry, drink, but still be thirsty, rejoice, but be ashamed.
They're going to have a bad day there. My servants sing with joy, but you will cry and howl.
You will be a curse to my chosen people, and I'll kill you and call my servants by another name.
Not Israel or Jacob.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good. We're tired of those names.
That's right.
Verse 17. I'm creating a new heaven and a new earth. The old earth will be forgotten.
I'll create a new Jerusalem where everyone will be happy. There will be no more crying. There will be no more childhood deaths, and people will have lifespans of at least 100 years. Those who die younger than 100 will be considered accursed.
People will build houses and plant vineyards. Their houses and crops won't be taken away by others, and people will live as long as trees.
There won't be any troublemakers. Wolves and lambs will eat together. Lions will eat straw, and snakes will eat dust. Everyone will get along on my holy mountain.
That seems a little unbelievable.
Well.
Chapter 66. Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. But where is the house that you built me?
Killing an ox is like killing a human. Sacrificing a lamb is like cutting off a dog's neck.
Offering a sacrifice is like offering swine's blood, and burning incense like blessing an idol. They're all abominations.
Isn't that amazing that God would say something like that? Since back in Leviticus, he spent the first 9 chapters telling people exactly how he wanted animal sacrifices to be done and demanding that they do it
in his honor.
And do it forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But he seems like he's changed his mind here. Just doesn't like them anymore. They're abominations. They're all abominations.
Mm-hmm. Rejoice with Jerusalem. Suck on her breasts until you are satisfied. Suck and bounce on her knees.
Good advice. I don't know how you suck on the breasts of a city, but you're going to have to do that, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And bounce on her knees. Okay. God will come with his chariots like a whirlwind with fire and fury.
He will slaughter many people with his sword.
Those who purify themselves in gardens while eating swine flesh, the abomination and mice will all be killed together.
Okay, God is back to his normal self now. I know all their thoughts. I'll gather everyone together and show them my glory. I'll set a sign among them. Everyone will come with their horses, chariots, mules, and swift beasts to my holy mountain. They'll all come to worship me.
And the last verse in the book of Isaiah.
I've been waiting for those worms.
And they'll see the carcasses of those who have offended me. The worms that are eating the dead bodies will never die. And the fire that burns them will never be extinguished. It'll be disgusting for everyone to see.
Oh, the worms will never die. They'll just keep eating people forever.
Yeah. And this is something that Jesus quoted. He quoted from Isaiah. He was saying that if your eye offends you, then you have to pluck out your eye. Your hand offends you, pluck off your hand. Because it's better to go to heaven with only one eye than to go to hell with both eyes, or, where the worm never dies.
Oh, the worm is in hell.
Yes, and it never dies. So it's continually eating your body while I guess you're still alive, I guess.
Yeah, eating your eye and your hand.
It's not a pleasant thought. But what they're actually talking about here in Isaiah and what Jesus was referring to is not worms, really. It's maggots. It's fly larvae.
Oh.
They look like worms.
Yeah.
That's what's eating the dead bodies that they're talking about here. This is a very common fly, the common green bottle fly.
Oh.
Yeah, Lucilia sericata. And I've actually seen these flies in our yard.
Very cool.
Yeah, they're very pretty flies, very bright green.
Fluorescent green.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you can take the time to go outside and find bugs and identify them.
Anyway, that's what the book of Isaiah ends with, is immortal worms. I should say other things about the green bottle fly. It's also used in maggot therapy.
Oh.
You've heard about maggot therapy?
No.
Oh, it's a real thing. They use it today because what these maggots do is they eat dead flesh, right? Mm-hmm. They don't eat living flesh. And so if you have a wound that needs to be cleaned, you can put these maggots on it and they'll eat up all the dead and decaying flesh in the wound.
Yeah.
And so it cleans up the wound better than it can be done with any other way.
So doctors in hospitals use
Doctors in hospitals use it today, maggot therapy. And also another thing about these flies that's wonderful is that they're used in crime investigations because they lay their eggs on dead bodies.
Okay.
Not just human bodies. As soon as it dies and it's nice and fresh,
they're there.
They're there. They lay their eggs on it. And then the eggs hatch a few days later, and then they burrow into the body and they start to eat it. And about a week later, there's still a larva, but they crawl out of the body, they bury themselves in the ground, and they pupate. And then maybe a week or so later, they emerge as adult flies.
Wow. So, Steve, do these maggots die?
Yes, they do. Yeah. They actually have rather short lifespans. So even the longest living fly, at least blowfly that's involved in these worms, immortal worms, would only live 9 months or so at the very longest.
Yeah.
So, yes, they die.
Hey, you are full of good, interesting knowledge.
Well, I like flies.
Hey, listeners, thanks for staying with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.